So then I wanted to go into HRM and performance, and I wanted to say, well, actually, the evidence is ambiguous on whether human resource management actually improves performance. It all depends how you define HRM. Hesselid has a certain definition, which he associates it with recruitment, selection, training, and compensation, and labour management participation, and a range of other indicators. And he finds a positive impact of HRM on performance. But is that the correct definition? HRM means different things to different people. And I wanted then to allude to the difficulties of measuring performance and ask if we are too obsessed with measuring things. So here's a clip from The Wire, which is a great US TV series. You might want to have a look at it if you've got any free time with all the lecturing and seminars and reading you've got to do. But anyway, here's a clip about the growth of performance measures in a school and looking at some of the adverse impacts of this obsession with measurement.
They're looking for at least a 10-point increase from all city middle schools this time around.
Still 6 weeks away from the MSAs. Do you want us to start teaching the test now? This year, the preferred term is curriculum alignment.
There's nothing wrong with emphasizing the skills necessary for the MSA. If we can get them to write a paragraph without a 4-letter word in it, it'll have to have better command of English.
Marcia, skill sets are one thing, but this has us teaching test questions to write.
Test questions that involve skills. I don't see your point.
I don't see the point.
Were you really expecting something different than last year?
I don't see the math section. These are all language arts questions.
Our grade is failing on standardized tests last year. So for the time being, all teachers will devote class time to teaching language arts sample questions. Now, if you turn to page 11, please, I have some things I want to go over with you.
Okay. All this so we score higher in the test.
Pages 11 through 13.
Teaching the kids the test questions. What is it assessing in them?
It assesses us.
The test scores go up. The exit scores are improving. The scores stay down. They keep checking the stats.
Excuse me?
Making robberies into larcenies and rapes disappear. You check the stats and majors become colonels.
Is that all on the same section?
Where do you go? There you are.
Juking the stats is a key word there. And also I talked about Michael Power in Peace in Human Relations, which is on your reading on the slides at the end, the PowerPoint slides. And there's a quote from Power regarding this pervasive obsession with measurement and how it sort of naturalizes things which could otherwise be considered controversial or politically dangerous. What he calls an institutional demand for numbers. And
Gentlemen, the word from on high is that felony.
here's a clip from The Wire, which again brings out this issue of problems with this obsession with measurement.
Rates district by district will decline by 5% before the end of the year. Ideally, in certain days, you will reduce the UCR felonies by 5% or more. I've always wanted to say this. Let no man come back alive. In addition, we will hold this year's murders to 275 or less. Feel no phase, Colonel Foster? Little dyspeptic? No, sir. I'm good to go. Here's a fun fact for you people. If Walmart had New York's population, we'd be clocking 4,000 murders a year at this rate. There is no
So the question when we look at different pieces of data is, how is it measured? And how we measure HRM obviously depends on how we define HRM. Do we associate HRM with competitive advantage, which leads to a certain, more instrumental version of HRM?
Jobs and competitiveness.
Balances.
And that was just about this idea of competitive advantage and how this notion of competitiveness has become very strong, that clip. But we could also associate HRM with employee participation and empowerment. But then this brings up the question about whether empowerment or participation as HRM should include the freedom to disagree. That's an issue, again, we'll be talking about in the seminars. I also mentioned Fleetwood and Skith, and that's worth reading. And they say we're too obsessed with numbers in regard to HR, human resources and performance. And the problem is a lack of clear theory. And quantification isn't really helping us develop a theory of HRM. So I then showed this clip of the office at the end, which I'm going to leave again. But just to say, some of these issues that I brought up, what we'll be focusing on in the seminars is this issue of fairness in the workplace. And I'm going to give you those examples and consider what is fair and is not fair. That's one set of issues. Another set of issues is this kind of idea of whether we think of human resource management as being about controlling people or sort of competitive advantage and flexibility, which is the hard version of HRM, or whether we associate it with sort of employee participation and empowerment and responsibility, which is a more soft version. So we have two conceptions of HRM which are basically at odds with one another. And also some of these issues of measurement and whether we're too obsessed with measuring things. So those are the three topics we'll be talking about in the seminars.